Calvar'ion and Vet'ion are both seriously good moneymakers, and once you know what you're doing, the fights are literally damageless. Calvar'ion will make you around 2 mil per hour, and Vet'ion is pushing over 4 mil per hour right now. You don't need high stats or expensive gear to get stuck in and start making some fat stacks of cash. The best part, Calvar'ion sits in low level wilderness right next to Ferox Enclave, so banking is quick, getting back is easy, and escaping PKs is usually manageable. And Vet'ion's great fun too, especially with a small group of buddies if you're prepared to fight back against the cretins trying to take your hard-earned loot. Blighted supplies make each trip super cheap. Wilderness weapons let you hit insanely hard in low-risk gear, and once you learn the mechanics, kills become fast, consistent, and honestly, just pretty damn chill. Yes, PKs are always a threat, and occasionally you'll get some absolute sweat lord raid boss PKer dropping in on you. It happens, but if you're banking regularly and you've bought sensible risk, you'll still be walking away with solid profit. Later in the video, I'll give you some super simple PK escape tips that will massively increase your survival rate. In this guide, I'm going to be showing you exactly what gear you need to use to keep your risk minimal while still pumping out damage, and I'll break down every mechanic you need to know so you don't get slapped back to Lumbridge. Before we get into the gear and mechanics, it's important to understand the differences between Calvar'ion and Vet'ion, because whilst mechanically they're almost identical, the risk level is slightly different. Calvar'ion is the safer version of the boss. He's located in singles plus wilderness, which means only one player can attack you at a time, and more importantly, he's only in level 21 wilderness, so you can teleport out if a PKer shows up. That makes him the perfect place to learn the mechanics without constantly getting piled on by teams. Vet'ion is the higher risk, higher reward alternative. He's got slightly stronger stats, can be fought in groups, and he's located deeper in level 35 wilderness. This restricts your ability to teleport away. The fight's in multi-combat, meaning teams can attack you all at once. If a PKer shows up here, your only option is to run through the exit and escape through the caves. Mechanically though, they are almost identical. So unless you're comfortable escaping multi-teams, have a group backing you up, or just don't mind the extra risk for the higher GP per hour, I'd recommend starting with Calvar'ion. Both of these bosses have a wilderness diary requirement. Calvarion's locked behind the hard diary, and Vet'ion requires medium. Now, let's go over the stats and weapons you'll want to kill them efficiently and safely. I'd recommend having around 70 in your melee stats and a minimum of 43 prayer for protection from melee. That alone is enough to kill both bosses comfortably. Obviously, the higher your stats are, the faster your kills will be, and higher prayer levels let you use stronger offensive prayers. Piety at level 70 is a huge upgrade if you've got it unlocked. But realistically, if you're a mid-game account with base 70s, you're more than ready to start farming these two spooky skeletons. Now, let's talk about weapons, because this is the real secret to making these bosses insanely easy money. Both Calvar'ion and Vet'ion are weak to crush, so your weapon choice matters a lot here. This alone is the reason these bosses are so farmable. The absolute best options are the Ursine Chainmace and Vogora's Chainmace. These weapons get a massive damage and accuracy boost when used in the wilderness, which means you can hit hard even in budget gear. This is why the GP here feels so good. The only expensive item you need, your weapon, is never at risk. Keep the rest of your setup cheap and you'll still be getting very fast kills. If you are using a wilderness weapon, remember it must be charged with Revenant Ether, a minimum of 1000. You'll lose this if you get PK'd. That's where the bulk of the risk comes from in these bosses. If you don't have a wildy weapon, it's still doable with these budget options. A Zami Hasta, a Zombie Axe, a Sarachnis Cudgel, or even a Dragon Mace. You'll see why we can get away with these lower tier options soon in the next section. Whatever weapon you bring, just make sure your attack style is set to crush. Now, let's build a low risk gear setup around that weapon. I'm not going to waste your time reading out every single item you should bring. The full setup is on screen for you right now. This is a low risk, budget friendly setup I use for killing both Calvar'ion and Vet'ion. Sure, you can make some upgrades, but that just adds unnecessary risk if a PKer shows up. At a basic level, all you need is as much crush and strength bonus as you can get as cheaply as possible. The real secret tech here is the Salve Amulet E. I've talked about how to get this item and why it's so useful before in one of my other videos, but to summarize, both of these bosses are undead, so that little amulet gives you a massive accuracy and damage boost without adding any risk. It's literally free, And if you die, you can still collect it from your gravestone. With this OP amulet around your neck, you'll be hitting big and often. Let's go over your inventory. The real concern here is not surviving the boss, it's surviving PKers. In theory, this is a damageless fight once you master the mechanics. All you need is a super combat potion to keep your stats boosted and a blighted super restore to keep your prayer topped up. A stamina is also nice to have for escaping PKers. Bring a loot-in bag to stash all the loot, and a royal seed pod for a teleport at up to level 30 wilderness. Save a slot for whatever teleport you need to get here, we'll cover this shortly. Fill the rest of your slots with whatever foods you can. I'd bring a couple of Saradomin brews, these heal for a lot of health per inventory slot. Then a mix of blighted mantas and blighted karambwans, super useful for combo eating. If you aren't sure how to combo eat, it's a super useful skill for surviving PKers, but it's really useful in PVM too. Check out more on that in my other video. Now you're geared up with a full inventory, here's the quickest and safest way to get to each of these bosses. For Calvar'ion, use a ring of dueling to get to the Ferox Enclave. Run north through the low-level wilderness to the Skeletal Tomb. For Vet'ion, use a Revenant's Cave teleport to Deep Wildy, then run southeast to Vet'ion's Rest. It costs 50k to enter both of these arenas, which is taken directly from your bank. If you're finding this guide useful so far, smash that like button and subscribe for more beginner-friendly PVM guides. I've got videos for over half the content in the game at this point. I'm sure I can help you out. If you're looking to spice up your gaming setup, you can grab 10% off on CreatorCrafted items with my code 10boot. They've got loads of super cool stuff. I've personally got my eye on a new desk mat. The link's in the description to check them out. Here's everything you need to know to deal with all of the mechanics in this fight. All of the boss's direct attacks can be avoided through movement mechanics. It's only the additional spawns that you need to pray against, but you can keep protection from melee up at all times just to be safe if you're not feeling confident yet. For the magic lightning attack, you'll see shadows on the ground around the area. These explode with a bolt of lightning in a 3x3 grid around the shadow. Don't stand on any square adjacent to the shadow and you'll avoid this completely. For the shield bash, you'll see the shadows again, but this time they'll be directly in front of the boss. You just need to step backwards a few tiles so you aren't in front of the boss. As well as damaging you, if you get hit by the shield bash, your attacks get delayed, so avoiding this one is super important if you want to keep those kills fast. The trick to dealing with both of these mechanics is to simply move after every attack you make, as the lightning will always spawn near you and you'll always be next to the boss in melee range. Simply stepping back a few tiles after every hit you land means you'll pretty much always be in a safe area. You'll also have to deal with his minions, 2 skeletal Hellhounds. Keep prey melee up when these guys are around and take them out. They should only take 1 or 2 hits. If you forget your prayers, these boys don't hit too hard, so no big deal. Once you get the boss's first form to 0 HP, you'll fight the enraged form. It's exactly the same, but everything happens a little faster, hits a little bit harder, and he's orange. When he transitions to the enraged form, you need to step back a few tiles, just like the shield bash mechanic. There's a big explosion that you need to avoid. The full fight plays out like this. You'll start fighting Purple Vet'ion, get him to half HP, whilst avoiding the lightning and shield slam. Then pray melee and take out the Hellhounds when they spawn. Get him to 0, still avoiding all of the same stuff, and he'll turn orange. At half HP, he'll spawn 2 more Hellhounds. Again, pray melee, kill him, and finish off the boss. With that information, you've got almost everything you need to know to make some big money here. However, there's one thing we haven't covered yet. PKers. Here's the number 1 trick for surviving both bosses and PKers. Try and fight near the exit. For Calvar'ion, you're in singles plus wilderness below level 30 and you can teleport out at any time. Keep an eye on the entrance and as soon as someone dips in, spam that emergency teleport. If you do get teleblocked, standing by the exit allows you to get some distance and get out of the line of sight using the obstacles around the boss area, or you can just run south until the wilderness level is low enough that the player can't attack you, or you reach the ditch in Edgeville. At Vet'ion, multi-combat means that if you're getting attacked, it's usually going to be by more than one person. You also can't teleport directly from the cave, you're too deep in the wilderness. Positioning near the arena exit is extra critical here, although it is hard to do because the boss moves around fairly randomly. Once you exit the boss's area, you don't exit directly into the open wilderness. You'll have to traverse the escape caves, giving PKers even more time to kill you. If you want to escape here, you need to be out of there as soon as those PKers get in. That's pretty much it. Calvar'ion is your low-risk, beginner-friendly boss, easy to get to, easy to escape, and still a solid 2 mil per hour, perfect for learning the mechanics and getting comfortable with wilderness bosses. Vet'ion is higher risk, higher reward, deeper in the wilderness, multi-combat, but he can pay out over 4 mil per hour if you know what you're doing. The real secret tech for both is wilderness weapons and a Salve Amulet E. Keep your setup low risk and master these simple mechanics for a damageless fight. The only real danger here is getting PK'd, and escaping at Calvar'ion isn't particularly hard. Follow this guide, stick to the basics, and you'll be farming these spooky skeletons like a pro in no time. As always, a massive thank you to my YouTube channel members and Twitch subscribers. Liking and subscribing is the best way to support the channel, but if you do want to give that extra bit back, I do really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around, I'll see you next time.